It's Margaret Skype, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about shiny things like diamonds. Without further ado, I wanted to talk about diamonds in general today, and the biggest question is, why are we so drawn to these shiny things? Some of the questions that we're going to raise is the investment of a diamond real or not? And when I say real, is that really an investment or we've been fooled? Is diamond really rare? And the last question that we're going to cover is, should a regular consumer buy lab-grown or natural? Let's go. First of all, did you know why are we drawn to diamonds? They are super shiny, and for centuries we've been drawn to shiny things. The myth is, or the story that goes around, is that Homo sapiens, Cro-Magnons, all human beings that came from there, we are drawn to diamonds because they're shiny. And at some point, shiny meant water, and water meant life. So perhaps we're drawn to this because in a way it means life. I don't know for sure, but I know ever since I was a kid, I've always loved shiny things. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know if I'm on the rare side. I don't know if other kids experience it. I have 3 girls and they're also drawn to shiny things. But again, some say maybe it's genetics, so we don't know. But I do think that naturally all humans are drawn to shiny things. I do think naturally you like to stare at it. Like I can be driving, down I-95 here and just looking at my ring and it shines and it just makes me feel good looking at shiny things. So perhaps it's not a myth and we are really truly drawn to shiny things. Who knows? But the biggest question is, why did we go into this diamond industry all of a sudden? Before, I believe, 1930s, diamonds were not a thing. They existed, but a lot of the elite that could afford expensive jewelry were not choosing diamonds. They were choosing sapphires and rubies and emeralds and other gemstones. Diamond was just a diamond, just like sapphire or ruby, but there was no particular, hunt for it or no particular need for a fancy royal family to own diamonds. They owned them because they were passed through generations in the families, but there was no hunt for them. And it's only until DeBeers came into the market and they had a ton of diamonds that they mined that they realized that they need to somehow sell them. As simple as that. So the wonderful marketing campaign launched that. You guys must remember it, some of you that are watching me out there. I think it went like, if you like it, put a ring on it or something like that. And that's when it hit massive sales, when they just went through the roof, because before that, giving an engagement ring to say yes was not a thing. So it's not really a long-term thing. It's a recent thing that we started all, the men started hunting to give an engagement ring to say yes. Before that, that was not a thing. And even my parents, who were born in 1965, when they said I do's, there was no rings. It was not a custom. It was just not a custom. My dad asked my mom to marry her. She said yes, there was no ring. Then they exchanged their wedding rings and they just wore their wedding rings. So this whole hunt for engagement rings is quite new to us. So the other commercial that launched also by DeBeers because they needed to raise their sales was the one that mentioned that the ring should be purchased for 1 month's guy's salary. And that's where the idea that you have to spend a 1 month salary on an engagement ring came from. Later in a little bit, they came up with the idea that the commercial was for 2 months salary. And so now I think the norm or the standard that goes around, or what I hear from my clients when they come to an appointment, they think that it should be around 3-4 months salary that goes towards the ring. And believe it or not, I never pursue that idea with any of my clients because for me, it doesn't matter. I can get creative at $1,000. I can get creative at $10,000. It really does not matter at the end of the day, as long as you're happy. But people come with these ideas already set. They come and they tell me, I would like a ring for, let's say $15,000. And I go, well, okay, that's a good budget, and when we start talking, get to know each other, the way they come up with this $15,000 is the salary of 3 or 4 months that they have, and they have saved it up because that was the idea that they had put into themselves. So I just want to say clearly, guys, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter the amount of money that you spend in the ring, as long as you're going to make your girl happy. And as long as your financial situation, your situation between the two of you allows it. I've made a great video on how much you should spend and how you should feel how much you should spend, and talk to your girl about it, and so on and so forth. And it's going to be linked right here. It's a wonderful video. I recommend you to watch it. It's 10 minutes, but it's going to give you some perspectives into how many of our clients come up to us and how we talk to them about this process. And believe it or not, a lot of the times we talk about budget a lot, because different rings cost different money. And a lot of the times it leaves them puzzled, because let's say if they had a $5,000 budget, but they know that their girl likes this ring and it's around 10 grand, it's a big jump from $5,000 to $10,000, and they really have to think about it. So it's a big deal. So without further ado, we talked about DeBeers and how it only after their marketing we went into this whole hunt for engagement rings and saying I do's and the salaries. But is it really an investment? Is diamond really an investment? And sadly or not, I'm sure you watched a ton of videos by the time you stumbled upon me. It can be an investment, but it is on a rarer side that it would be an investment. Most regular families that spend under $10,000 on an engagement ring should not look at it as investment, because the simple truth is it's not going to happen. By the time you bought the ring, by the time someone made it, put labor into it, diamonds went into it, by the time we put our profit and we sold it to you, you're not going to get that as an investment. And then on the contrary to what I just said, you could. And I'm going to explain why I'm so contradictory. Look at it this way. If you bought this ring today and you want to sell this ring in 30, 40, 50 years from now, you will get a lot more money than you paid today because of inflation, economy, gold going up, diamonds going up. So it's not that you're going to lose money completely, but it needs to take a long time for you to make some money on a jewelry piece. And it will happen. But perhaps it can happen if you're planning to pass that ring on to your son or your daughter, and it's going to stay in the family, and then at some point 40, 50 years down the line they'll sell it. You will not be at loss in that sense. But at the same time, it is not like they're going to make $50,000 on top either. So it's not really an investment, but it's not really going to be a loss. And I wanted to explain that because I feel like there's so many contradictory theories online. Some scream it's not an investment, others scream it is. And on the contrary to this, I have clients who come and say, Rita, I do want it to be an investment stone. Most of the time it's a stone, because labor or paying for labor, especially here, will never be an investment because it's expensive. So if you come to me and you say, you're a regular person, you want a stone and you want it to be an investment, that's a totally different story. And that can be an investment because there are still fancy diamonds of very rare colors on the market that are of investment grade because they are scarce. There are still white diamonds of a rare grade, and those are internally flawless. So if you're out there looking for your maximum investment in a diamond ring, go for internally flawless diamond because they are always in, people always want them, and they're very easy to sell. But they're also on the expensive side. Canadian diamonds, yes. I know some of you don't know about this, but they can be of an investment grade because Canadian diamonds of a larger size are scarce. People want them. Part of the reason people want them is because they are conflict free. They come with a laser engraving, a little booklet, and a passport that says that they're Canadian. They are more expensive, but they can be of an investment grade. So it all comes down to really trust. I suggest if you just don't want to buy just any ring or any diamond, you have this idea that you want it to be an investment, find someone you trust. And it is super hard to find someone you trust in the jewelry industry. But that's the only way to get around being fooled or not being told some of the factors that could possibly potentially screw up your investment. So find someone you trust and can ask questions that they can truly answer truthfully to you. And if you don't have that type of person and you're considering buying something online or in person, Listen, I say this all the time. Email me, info@miamijewels.com. I will always answer you. I have absolutely no reason to lie to you, because why would I? Why do I answer these questions, you ask? I just do. I answer a ton of questions that come from different people asking me different questions, and I guess that's just my way of giving back. And so if you are in the situation where you want my opinion, shoot me an email. Usually within 24 to 48 hours, I answer all my emails. You can also look me up, Miami Jewels, on Instagram and ask me there. That's also super easy, and I answer all the inquiries. So that's my 5 cents on that. An investment can be an investment material, but let's say in a regular family with a regular budget of about 10 grand, it is probably not going to happen. Most of our investment stones that we did, or rings, went way above $30,000. So it is expensive. Now let's cover, is it really rare? This is what I wanted to cover, because we have very contradictory clients who write to me, oh, diamonds are not rare, we're not scars, there's a ton of them, and then others that say yes, they're rare. So I wanted to cover this contradictive theories going on whether the diamonds are rare or not. If you've seen some documentaries online, you know by now that diamonds are not scarce material. We have a ton of diamonds, a ton of mines, we have a ton of diamonds. You also know that DeBeers is controlling the market. So they let only a percentage of diamonds come into the market for sale, because if they would let all their diamonds on the market, it would be like lab-grown diamonds at this point. There would be no value. So I want you to understand that, yes, the diamonds material is not scarce. It is controlled by companies, but it's not scarce. We have a lot of diamonds in the world. Yet, the fact that it's controlled, it is still not that many of them come out to the market. But I want to explain what makes a diamond rare. And after this video, if you have time, please go and check out mines in Africa. There's a lot of documentaries online. Amazing, amazing mines in Africa. You know, you can see how people are in those mines, what kind of conditions they work in, how long it takes to get one diamond, because they have to go through a ton of, ground to cover it just to find diamonds. It's not that easy. And I'm talking about even the people that are working under the earth, like 800 meters under the earth in tunnels, and they still dig for these diamonds. It's a hard work, you guys. It is incredibly hard work. So if you watch those documentaries and see, if you've ever been to Africa and those mines, some people there put their heart and soul into this job for you to have this bling bling on your hand. So even though we have amounts of these diamonds, at the same time, it makes it so rare because even if we have this material not in a scarce amount, not everyone can afford a diamond. You have to keep in mind that in today's economy, probably the last thing that a lot of people think are diamonds. I'm talking about regular families, so it is rare and not rare at the same time. And I keep being contradictory, but because I always see two sides of the story, I can never help it that when I hear someone screaming, it's this or it's this, it's both. Really. And at the same time, I have seen some incredibly rare diamonds, especially if you go into fancy colors, blues and green. I mean, red is the rarest, and I've seen that too. You won't believe how many rare diamonds are out there. They exist. The only issue is they get sold at auction houses. They get sold before they even hit the market. There's a huge clientele that hunts for these rare diamonds, that wants these rare diamonds to have as part of their collections. These are obviously people that are wealthy enough to have them, but they do exist, these rare diamonds. And even in today's world, even if you're a regular person, you could still find something rare. And I'll tell you a funny story. I had a client come in and he wanted a rare diamond. I think he had a budget of $2,000-$3,000. And obviously you can't get much with $2,000-$3,000. That's a given. But he really wanted something rare. We found an incredible, I think it was 1 carat salt and pepper diamond. The pattern was so beautiful and so rare, with just mesmerizing black piquets that formed a star. Under the microscope, you could see some rainbows formed inside the rock, and it was just so beautiful. And he was so happy because even though it was a $3,000 stone, it was rare. Try finding another one like that, and I guarantee you, you'd have to go through years until you find something close, but not the same. So it's not that you can't find a rare diamond, it's mostly what you have in your mind for when you think of rare. So diamond can be rare and it can be not rare at the same time. And I know I always bring you to both, but it is both. And the last question, why are people buying lab-grown diamonds? We see this everywhere. We see a ton of videos about lab-grown diamonds because they're just so hot right now. But if you think about it, it's so simple. Imagine Mercedes or Bentley or Maserati today, the amounts of money these cars cost. If tomorrow they'll be half price, looking exactly the same. If tomorrow there'll be Maserati 2 or Maserati Lab, I don't know, and it'll be half the price, looking the same, people would still buy it because now on the road, nobody could tell if you're driving the Maserati real car or the Maserati half price. This is why I was so drawn to lab-grown. This is why people buy lab-grown diamonds. It's not just the point that they're cheap. It is the point that now you can look like $1 million and pay $5,000. So think about it. If it would be any other stone, that would be, I don't know what to name it. Let's name it Star Wars. And it just came up on the market and it looked, beautiful, but it wasn't looking like a diamond. It would be, I don't know, red with streaks or whatever. It would not be so popular. The idea behind lab-grown diamonds, whether somebody wants to say it to themselves or not, is the fact that they can now afford the bling bling that everybody else has. Because at the end of the day, diamonds are a statement piece. Royal families have diamonds in their families and real estate and cars and huge mansions. It's part of that look. Like if you have a diamond, or if you have diamond earrings or necklace or ring, you are a little bit above the average. This is how diamonds make a lot of people feel. And so there is a hunt for lab-grown diamonds now, because now, even if you're making very small salary, technically you could still save up and buy that ring you dreamed of at the end of the year. It is now possible. So a dream that for many was not possible is all of a sudden possible. And that's what lab-grown industry is doing. Without further ado, it's Margarita Skype, and I hope you learned something new in this episode. Guys, happy Thanksgiving. I've got my pumpkins, and I'll see you in the next episode.